being down and my Twitch issues, etc., etc. Anyway, today we're going to play Approach of the Second Sons one more time before Rivals have released. I still have to read some of the spoilers from Rivals, so I'm not sure whether this deck will get better or worse, but I feel like Rivals makes the format more aggressive, so that's all bad signs for this. Anyway, this build's very similar to the last builds we ran. We're pretty happy with how this deck's set up at the moment. The mono red match is still horrible, but I honestly don't even think it's fixable. But today, we cut the last Supreme Will and we moved an Essence Scatter to the main, and we took the Essence Scatter out of the side and added a Disallow to the side. That may should be an Essence Scatter in the side than a Disallow main, but I wanted to test it like this first, just because Essence Scatter's a little bit better versus the red decks, while still being good versus the Teamer decks, or the energy decks in general. Still just running 3 Rivulets. I honestly am not sure whether I want 3 or 4. It's all metagame dependent, and right now there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of decks that Rivulet's good versus, but I do still want a few because they play good with Approach themselves. And we still have this one Gideon in the deck. I'm not confident in myself enough to cut it, but I don't feel it's been underperforming, but it's still good versus the red match. But I'm not sure overall that I want it, if that's the only thing that I want it for. Whoops, sorry about that. But if that's the only thing I want that card for, then I'm pretty sure we're going to dump it. I don't like it in the mirror anymore. I think the format's changed enough that I don't really want to use it. But I'm not 100% positive. Anyway. Hey Sean, thank you so much for the bits, man. Highly appreciate it. 20 little bits from Sean. He's watching those ads. You plan on going to any pre-releases, bud? What do we got here? The Wednesday? Yeah. Wow. Well, that opponent left the matchmaking queue very quickly. He must have heard we were coming for him. That is 20 cents. That is not 2 cents. That is 20 cents. I might get to play Friday Night Magic this week. Pretty excited about it. I think they'll have moved Granny to rehab by then. She seems to be recovering well, which is really nice. Definitely should turn my stream on like 30 minutes ago, but I got caught up by reading or watching YouTube videos. I really don't like this Gideon. I wish I hadn't submitted this list with this Gideon. I wish it was just a Disallow or like a 4th Settle or a 4th Fumigate or a 3rd Meltdown. This hand's set up pretty good. It's a nice little starting hand. Thank you very much, Sean. We'll go ahead and keep here. Opponent's mulliganing. Oh! We played this guy versus this guy the other day, and he was a little salty, and then he came into chat and followed us and stuff, which is pretty cool. How many times do I have to press F6? Why isn't F6 working? Oh, this is going to be unacceptable if my function keys aren't working. I can't play without F6. Yeah, F6 just isn't working. F2's working. They didn't change my F6 key, did they? If they changed my hotkeys, there's going to be things to fight about. Sorry. They changed it to F8? That's unexcusable. What the hell? Thanks, Moto. Let's see if we can fix this real quick. Sorry, guys. I don't even know how you change things like that. Can I change you? Alright, that should work. Yes! Haha! Victory! Wait. Why did it pass our opponent's turn? I didn't click the button at all during our opponent's turn. Let's test this again. Alright. Huh. Alright, now just nothing's working. Alright, so there's no F6 today. So you say it's just 6? Alright, we'll try 6. Oh, pass turn. Gotcha. I see it. I was looking at the wrong thing. Okay. Let's go back and change this then. Let's unbind that. Bind that back to F8. I have no idea why. Unbind that. And then bind that back to F6. Wait. What was this? I forgot what this was. Alright, this should work. Victory! It is solved! I learned recently that we are from roughly the same area and that you've played some of my friends before. Tyler Logan was the one who mentioned it. Does anybody know who Tyler Logan is? I don't know who Tyler Logan is. I actually think I want this card. We're pretty light on lands as it is. By the way, we have a lot of dead cards in our hand considering what our opponent's playing. Our opponent's playing Esper Approach. Wait. Why is it F6ing? I didn't tell it to F6 there. Victor. Oh, Victor Logan. I don't think I've ever met Victor Logan. I don't go to the events you guys go to. I do know who he is, though, now that you mention it, but... Uh-oh. Well, that's what I refer to as a problem. I'll ask him after the game. He'll probably come in and chat with us. So opponent hit Ascanta first. Big sad fan over that. Alright, sorry about all the confusion with the buttons and stuff. So how have you been, Mr. Ricky? Have you caught your roommate's flu yet? It's gonna counterspell my Glimmer. That's not something that I think happens real often. I don't even hate that. Alright, well, anyway, we have to hit a land or we're gonna lose. Like how I was so worried about an F6 button when the odds of us using it isn't very high. So he kept the card on top, and he didn't cycle, and he didn't play a land. That is peculiar. Find that very, very peculiar. So it basically has to be counterspells, but... I'm not gonna play around Censor. Oh, you gave it to him? You had it first? I didn't know you had it. I hope you're feeling better. I'm just gonna cast a Gearhulk. Actually, I think Gearhulks are pretty medium in this match. It's a card I'll sideboard out. I think Gearhulk's pretty bad versus anything that has Scarab God in it. So he's going to use one of his disallows here, which is good for us. Getting rid of his hard counter spells is important. We hit an approach, which is nice. It's going to be hard for us to beat Dascanta if he ever gets any value out of it. I think my button's sticking because I certainly didn't mean to click through this phase adder. I always play the first approach. I don't care if they counterspell it or censor it. This one's not relevant, and it ties up their mana pretty badly for most of the game. They can like resolve a Scarab God or something now, but I don't even care that much about that when we have a Fumigate in our hand already. I'll put that on the bottom. Ooh, that's a nice one. Not going to use it right now. So we drew a card for a turn, we put a card on the bottom, and we drew a card. So we know our approach is the 4th card down. So we can guarantee draw approach with this Glimmer if we want. He just drew his 7th land. Yeah, let him counter it if he wants. Don't care. Really just looking for our own Dascanta. Hey, Jordan's alive! What's up, Jordan? Not saw you in for ages. So we know we're drawing to approach this turn. Go ahead and cycle that thing too. Got another Glimmer, which is nice. We hit our land drop, and we'll be more picky about how we play this other approach. We only have 2 hard counter spells in our main deck, though. Well, we have counter spells that can get like his Scarabs or his Gearhulks, but we only have 2 hard counter spells to fight versus his Disallow. And he's already got pretty close to an active Dascanta, so if his Dascanta flips, it's going to be hard for us to win a Disallow war over our approaches. But we do have we do have 3 approaches to go with it. We only have 3 Rivulets in this build as well. So we do have to be mindful about our cards, but I feel like we can just win with an approach at this point. I'm willing to put this one on bottom. I don't think I want 2 in my hand. I'm gonna put this one on top though and just play it. If he counterspells it, I'm fine with this. Don't care if he plays a Gearhulk or anything in response. If he plays a Gearhulk, we're literally just going to untap and win. Don't care if he censors that either. We don't really even want to draw the card. Like, we want to keep milling him as an option. But he does get to flip Dascanta now, so not great. We've gone through 28 cards now, and we've not found a TSG? What's TSG? It just mirrors the art of this changed on Moto. Like, I don't remember it having that type of border on Moto. Well, there's our first Disallow. Now we just have to get some mana. I don't mind putting that approach on the bottom because at some point we're going to draw a Filter Rune. It is, but we still can't cast it anytime soon because if we cast it, that gives them a window to cast theirs. A lot of these builds play Negate's main deck as well. And they would like be able to cast theirs and pay with Negate and play a Negate. We don't know that they have that in their hand. We're just saying it's something that they could have. Like I said, I feel like my main win condition is just beating them with Rivulet. The approach, I'm playing Approach as a backup in game 1. Oh yeah, they definitely have Scarab, but not super concerned about Scarab when we have things like Essence Scatters in our deck. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If we draw an untapped land, we have a Disallow. So I don't think there's any reason to disallow that. We'll just take our chance to win. So any untapped land wins. Not an untapped land. That's unfortunate. I actually think I'm going to hold that. We had a good percentage to win there. Fair enough. I could have went for it and used a Censor. Like the Censor would have beat a Supreme Will or a Disallow, but some of their builds do play Negate. And I don't want to just die because I didn't play around a Negate. Don't want to die just because I didn't play around a Negate, but maybe I should have went for it. Like the Negate's not super common, and we're like getting buried by Azcanta anyway. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. So it looks like he's just going to go for it. And that means he's going to have a Disallow backup as well, probably. And our Censor doesn't beat that because he did have a land. Which is why I didn't Censor last turn. He had to have a land to even make this play work. Basically, it was the first person to Azcanta was just going to win. We do have one out, so let's see if we can hit it. Alright, another redraw. Let's see if we can hit it. Didn't hit it. Alright, so we're dead. That's pretty unfortunate. I think he made a pretty questionable play when he played the Approach the turn he did. But didn't get punished. Alright, so they typically bring in the Cats, the Gearhulks, while still leaving in some Approaches. So I like bringing in the entire package to like beat Scarab Gods and things. I typically bring in all of these versus them. Cut the Meltdowns because I'm willing to lose to early cards. I actually don't think Censor's particularly good in this match either. I typically never want to... yes, he cast one already that game. He cast one the turn that if we had an untapped land, we just won. Maybe I should have went for it. Like, I could beat a Dispel or a Disallow. I could beat a Supreme Will, but I couldn't beat a Negate, so maybe I should have just went for it. I don't feel like I need more info versus an Approach deck, but yeah, I could have did that. I actually sideboard out Gideon in this match too, which is one of the reasons I want to cut Gideon. I don't think Gideon's good versus decks that are going to leave their Vraska's Contempts in, specifically versus me. I don't want to get rid of all my Wrath of Gods because I feel like their main way to win is with Cats and Scarab Gods post board. So I typically just take out the Censors here. I feel like I have enough counter spells that taking out Censors is fine. It does have a high... We do have a lot of like semi-dead cards though. But I feel like with the 4 Approaches and the full playset of Disallows, the 3 Negates and the 3 Essence Scatters, that we're really set up to beat them. Yep, has the 4th search for the sideboard for specifically matches like this. I feel like the first person to play a search always wins. Like, our opponent had searched that game, we didn't have searched that game, so, like, not only did that search give them value in cards, it gave them the land to play around the sensor. If we'd had our approach, we would have flipped it, or we would have had the land to just win. By the way, playing a Glacial Fortress is just stupid on this turn. I was talking and not paying attention, but there's really no reason to just not play an island there. And I'm playing an island now because I don't want him to resolve search. Like I said, I consider it the most important card in the match, so I basically just want to play around it. Go ahead and play this. I'm not worried about using the Opt right now. Ricky hates the 4th, but as you can see, like, we didn't even draw one with 4, and I want to draw one every game versus every opponent. Well, every opponent that all 4 of them would still be in the deck versus. Go ahead and negate. Nice. And now we get to resolve errors. And basically game going according to plan. Drawing 2 is not terrible. Because the first one gets counterspelled so often. So he's got Ixalan's Bindings in his deck, that's fine. We'll take our Ixalan's Binding because we want our we want our search back. That's how important I think search is. I feel like if I get one that, I feel like if I get one that drawing all 4 of them doesn't even bother me too much because of all the value I get from the 1. So, search for Azcanta in the graveyard, sure. I'm actually going to pass right now. I don't want him to untap and just like Scarab God for 3. I'm willing to cast the Glimmer during his end step. But missing a land drop hurts pretty bad. I just think there's such a high chance that he counterspells it if I play it on main phase. This deck gets considerably worse if energy gets banned. That gets considerably worse if energy gets banned. I don't really care if anything gets banned or not. It sucks in terms of like local magic, because like our local magic's basically all energy players, and it's a little boring because we have such a small community. But I don't think anything's good enough that it warrants a ban. Yeah, by the way, we're in super bad shape. We've missed multiple land drops now. This is the other way you can often lose this match. If you just don't play your lands, you lose. Definitely put both of those on bottom. Actually going to cycle this during my upkeep. Because I want to flip the search for Azcanta this turn. Glacial Fortress to the graveyard, yes. I just want to start getting the value in case bad thing happens. I think the format gets considerably more aggressive with Rivals being released in general, and on top of that, I think it gets considerably more aggressive if Energy gets banned as well. So what are we seeing here? Not really. I don't think it gets that much better. I mean, if Lost Legacy was more played, then I would think that mattered, but Lost Legacy isn't really played a whole lot right now, so that's why I don't consider that too important. Let's cycle this cast out, I think. Alright. Put approach on the bottom, immediately draw approach. That's my general opinion. Wow, so he didn't... That's my general opinion, Sean, but we'll have to see what happens. Like, the pirate deck's going to be pretty aggressive. The merfolk deck's playable. So at this point, we know he has his approach back, and we just have to try to win the counterspell war. So next turn, he'll have enough mana to... Oh, duress. That's interesting. I'm actually just going to go ahead and disallow that, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I can't disallow that, can I? If I disallow that, I'm just dead. Because he still has 7 mana. He's talking about approach, Ricky. He's got 2 cards in his hand, but we don't have enough mana to even play the approach plus to negate. I don't think I would want to do that either. Down to 3 cards now. What does he saw? What is this card? Is this a search Rascanta? Yeah, it's a search Rascanta. Alright, we'll take that one. Not sure if we're going to play it. Okay, we're definitely not playing it now that we've drawn a Glimmer. Sunburst Invocation's a fun card. I think I'm gonna discard this one and this one for now. He doesn't appear that he's even on creatures, so like maybe I sideboarded improperly. You just blew my mind. Ha! What puns? I'm going to start with the Glimmer. That way we can Essence Scatter a Gearhulk. I think he's trying to decide whether he's going to go for it or not. Need to pop this up. You gotta keep in mind that he knows this card. He does not know this negate. He knows these cards. This is a Gearhulk, I'll counter it. Don't get to use the Ascanta, but resolving the Glimmer is about the same. Abzan Tokens is a pretty strong deck. About me being a cool guy. So bottom, top. Top. Alright, well we didn't find lands, but we found everything else that I think we'll need to play this game. Hey Nando, what's up, man? I'm sorry, I do not speak whatever you're typing. Goodbye, Fumigate. I think Absent Tokens is a good deck now. I'm curious, it's kind of underplayed and I'm not really sure why. So he's just going to go for it, I guess. That means he's drew a second one. He tapped 8 mana, though. Okay, there we go. Alright, he's changed his mind. Now he's tapping 5 mana. 6 mana. 7 mana. Alright. So we're just going to go ahead and disallow it. And we get to play our approach next turn with a negate backup. You hope they ban negate. Fair enough. So what do we get here? As you guys can see, these Ascanthus just kind of really running away with the game. So we have a negate to fight his negate. I feel like they gave hints that they're going to ban something. I do not want anything banned. I do not think anything really deserves to be banned. I'm also not going to be upset if something gets banned. But I believe they gave hints that something was going to be banned. So like if I can read their subtitty? I don't know. If I can read their little hints, I think something's going away. So how much mana do we have? We need 1 more mana to play double negate. So we have 3, 2, 2. We have enough mana for this now. Yeah, Kaladesh block has been really powerful, that's for sure. I don't think banning a tune even really hurts that deck that much. I never have a tune on turn 1 anyway when I play that deck, and I seem to do fine. And I say never, but like the math on the play is like 44%, and I literally run it like 28 or something based on my own statistics. And I still just seem to win at a pretty high rate. I actually thought about cutting the card from my newer brew. I feel like they'd have to get Rogue Refiner, Attune, and possibly Efferhub to actually stop it. Alright, well. We just have so many counterspells post-board. It's one of the big, huge things for us. Apparently I missed what Ricky said. Oh, wow, I didn't see that. I'm gonna counterspell that too. You're not allowed to see my hand, friend. Counterspelling this, by the way, is wrong. Or not wrong, because we actually just want to save the approach so we can untap and win. If you had like triple negate or double duress, that would suck, but man, if they unban Marvel, I guarantee you I know what I'm playing. Guarantee you I know what I'm playing if they unban Marvel. Wow, he didn't even have a counterspell for that one. Alright. Well. So he didn't show us a creature that entire game. And him not showing us a creature that entire game kind of makes me feel like he's just not playing the creatures. He did show us cast outs, and he did show us both Ixalan's bindings. So I'm still pretty set that I don't really want to get in. But I don't know if I want all of these things now. I know I say he didn't show us creatures, and I'm making quotation marks. He showed us a Gearhulk. I mean, he didn't show us Scarab, and he didn't show us he didn't show us Regal Caracol. So I think I'm going to cut some number of these cards. I think I'm at least going to cut one of each. And the cards I'm considering bringing back in are the Sensors, which I don't think Sensor's particularly great here, and the Gideon. And again, don't think Gideon's particularly great here either because of the battles between bindings and castouts, but like, they are those games that you can just get them with Gideon, right? Esper Approach is better versus the aggro decks. So like Esper Approach and having access to Fatal Push and Vraska's Contempt makes you better versus red deck wins, but it makes you roughly the same versus Teamer. Like, within a few percentage points, but makes you worse versus the field as a whole. So, like, if you're expecting to just play Teamer and just play red deck wins, then Esper Approach is fine. It's absolutely fine. But when you plan on going into an open field and think you're going to have to play versus the token decks, the blue-black control decks, the other approach decks, etc., you want to be just on the blue-white deck. Well, it's not just the Fatal Push. And Effort Meltdown doesn't deal with Rampaging Ferocitodon, where Fatal Push can if you get a Revolt trigger off an Evolving Wilds or something. But the Vraska's Contempts are absolutely huge in that match as well, because Vraska's Contempt, much like Cast Out and stuff, can be used on the Hazards and the Chandras, but the life gain's actually relevant. I'm not actually sure. I think I'm going to play 1-1 because I'm not super sure. I feel like I'm wrong bringing this Gideon back in. I really feel like this Gideon should just be another Sensor. But I'm not confident in myself. But on a personal level, I just want to play Blue-White Approach. I think Blue-White Approach is fine versus the entire field. Ugh. I go, ugh. This hand's not particularly great. The Essence Scatters obviously aren't super great, the Fumigates aren't super great, and the Glacial Fortress and 1 Opt's not enough, I don't think. I think I'm going to mulligan it. Alright, we'll keep this, even though this is pretty similar to the last hand. Like, these Essence Scatters just aren't great, but we do have land drops now. Can't cycle this cast out, because there's some chance that he's just going to play Search for Azcanta. I'm not going to cycle it here either. Again, I think it's good enough to keep in general. Man, you're not allowed to unban Copycat unless you give me my Marvel back. So this game's not going to go well. We've already mulliganed. It looks like we're going to have land issues as well. We've already drawn a Settle and double Essence Scatter, which are cards that are useful in the match, but not cards you necessarily want in your opening hand, and not necessarily what you want with 3 out of 5 of your cards. I actually feel like I have to cycle this cast out now, even though I really don't want to, but I really can't afford to miss the land drop on the following turn. That's fine, don't care if you resolve a Glimmer. I wouldn't have counterspelled it anyway, especially when we only have 1 counterspell. I'm pretty sure 90% of the players would. The reason that Marvel didn't get played at the time was because people didn't think Marvel could be played with the Emrakul band. It took somebody figuring it out to make that happen. Again, not counterspelling that. Hey, sweet Matt, what's up, man? Like, I destroyed... have to counterspell this one. I'm going to use the less efficient counterspell, because it's a little bit better on our mana. But if this resolves, we're already behind in lands, and we're behind in Search for Azcanta, so we're pretty well just going to lose. It's going to be a very hard game to win now. I don't think that deck was nuts. Like, Marvel was just the best deck in that format by a lot. Mardu was the second best deck in that format by a lot. I don't even think the Saheeli combo was good. I would have called it tier 2. Oh, we have a cast out now. Maybe we can resolve the cast out on the search. Still have to feel like I have to do this during, like, right now. I want him to tap mana on his turn. Like, if he has to use a Gear Hulk or whatever to get back a counter spell, then at least it doesn't flip this turn. Like I said, we're obviously in super bad shape here. I don't think we would win if we just freely let it flip. There's another land, so at least we can settle the wreckage while holding up a counterspell. And it flips for sure now. Let's give him another land, because why would we need lands? I can't counterspell this. Just lose if we do. Just gonna lose anyway. I mean, we don't really have many options this game. I have no idea what memes and stuff you're talking about. Like, I literally don't know what they are. It looks like he drew a second approach. And he knows we have a negate, which means we know he has a counterspell. Well, we lose. It's a little unfortunate. We run the full 4 Search for Azcantas, and we still just lost Game 1 and Game 3 because Search for Azcanta come down. Sometimes you don't draw one, though. On to the next round. Search for Azcanta is life in those matches. I used to run 2 Field of Runes, but it messed with the mana enough that I cut them. Still, you guys are talking something foreign. I have no idea what you're going on about. I'm pretty comfortable in that match, though. Like, I feel like I would play that match over and over. Alright, next round has started. Oh, I forgot to ask dude his name. You guys wanted me to ask him his name and I forgot. My bad. I was too busy being a sore loser. Hey Vlad, what's up, man? Hey Dan, what's up, man? Hope you're having a good day. We'll keep. That's a pretty long match. It was like 45 minutes for us to play that game. Opponent has turn 1 attune. We don't have a sweeper yet, but we have time to try to find one. We've only played one match so far, and it was versus another approach deck, and I think we ran a little poorly, but yeah, they're going fine. Is that the land that he got? Yes, that's the land that he got. Oh wow, he didn't play a 2-drop. How lovely. I always feel like I can just not lose if they don't play a 2-drop. Well, I'll rephrase. You still have to draw your land. I don't care what it is, I'd counterspell it here. Hey, Joey Tribbiani. That's a good show. I was really excited when they brought it back to Netflix. It's not completely over. A, we've not drawn an approach, and B, Verascas can still win. Like Chandra Verasca still does some serious damage. Rogue Refiner will resolve. I'm still holding the cast out. I care more about Scarab and random planeswalkers than I do an arbitrary card. Mostly the random planeswalkers. Don't actually care about Scarab too much. Wait, you're leaving? Thank you so much. I'm glad you're enjoying it. This card resolves as well. Could care less about it. At some point we'll take the time to cast the Fumigate, but probably not before both Glimmers are cast. We don't want you. I will take an Essence Scatter. I don't really want the Essence Scatter, but the Essence Scatter is something we can play on like a turn that we also play Glimmer. We'll probably need to cycle one of these cast outs for lands now. Definitely going to take 6 damage here. Still has 5 cards in his hand. I think it's worse than Meltdown by a pretty decent margin. I could be wrong, but I feel like it is. I'll go ahead and use this first. Do I want to cycle a cast out? I don't think so. I specifically don't like that card because people are going to be playing more naturalizes and stuff now. Trying to decide whether I'm going to cycle one of these. I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm probably just going to discard the irrigated farmlands. I feel like I want every card in my hand. I don't actually know what Slaughter the Strong is. Is that the terrible white 1 card? I'm not 100% sure what it is. I'll cancel that. Don't know why that's popped up. I'm actually going to Essence Scatter this since I plan on using a Settle Direct his just turn anyway, and I just don't want him to get extra value back. Yeah, just do not play that card. That card is a bulk rare. You never want to play that card before we're playing 4 Settles and 4 Fumigates, and we're not playing 4 Settles or 4 Fumigates. Like, Settle's not even good. So why would you want to play an even more conditional Wrath? Yeah, and it's the literal worst card in my deck by a lot. I say it all the time. Like, it costs me so many games. There's a good chance it's going to cost me this game. Like, I actually think Settle is actively bad. If Red Deck Wins wasn't a deck and I did not have to worry about Hazoret, I would not play Settle ever. Oh, fair enough. Are you on a cell phone or something? Is that why there's a lag? One, two, three, four, five, six. Alright, so we'll keep this now. I don't feel like I need it to beat energy. I literally play it because of Red Deck Wins. Which is a deck I already lose to. Like, it's not like it makes me beat Red Deck Wins. Like, I was beating energy long before Settle was ever a card. Nah. It's one of those situations where they lose those things after the harm's already been done, though. Alright, so we cycled a card, we drew a card. So we know Approach is going to be the top card of our library after we mill ourselves for. I am confident in all my energy matches as long as they don't have 4 negates in their sideboard. They have 4 negates and a couple Supreme Wills, I think it gets significantly worse. Right now I have an interesting decision. Could go for the win, but opponents already showed us that he uses counterspells. Oh wait, no he never. That counterspell was my counterspell. Hold up here. That counterspell was my counterspell. Wow. Alright, well. That counterspell was my counterspell, so I'm not going to play around the counterspell. He never cast a Planeswalker ever. Oh, no. I said it's almost unwinnable if they're playing Cubs, the 2-drops, and they're playing 4+ negates and Supreme Wills, which is what I think every build at that time should have been playing. It's what I was playing. It's what Rob was playing. I think every blue card they remove from their deck and every Cub they remove from their deck makes it easier and easier for Approach to win. Like, if they don't have Cubs, they don't have negates, and they don't have a couple Supreme Wills, Approach has a pretty decent match. Because it's like they have to draw about 2 blue cards in the top 15 to 20-ish cards. While still being able to put pressure on you. But the fact is, like, all of these energy decks now are tuning themselves to beat other energy decks. And Cub is very bad versus other energy decks. So a lot of these decks are cutting Cubs and they're like shaving on the gates. and things. Alright, so in this match, he's playing the 4-color Teamer deck. I pretty well sideboard versus the 4-color version, the same as I do the 3-color version. I think I beat myself, but that's like a completely different argument. Like, I think my deck would have won if a better player was playing my deck. I'm confident I made game-losing mistakes. Anyway, so versus Scarab God, the first card I always take out is Torrential Gearhulk. I absolutely can't stand that card versus Scarab God. Cards that I like the Essence Scatters. I like the Disallows. I like the Bindings. And versus this build, I like some number of negates, but you usually can't fit all of the negates in. Cards that I don't really like Gideon in this match, especially if they don't have Cub. I don't really like all the ops in this match. And then Riki has talked me into starting to sideboard out some sensors, so I have been sideboarding out some sensors, though feels really awkward to me to sideboard out sensors. But sensors on the draw aren't particularly good. Sensors on the play are excellent. Sensors on the draw are just kind of eh. Still like all the searches, but I don't like it enough to bring the 4th in. Well, I mean, it's I don't know that it's smart, because like those cards are excellent. Like Cubs are excellent versus red deck wins, right? And like red deck wins is still a very large percentage of the field. So like they're just bad versus other energy decks. I've brought in nearly every counterspell because I believe the post-board version of this match typically plays out that they're playing things like Veraskas, Chandras, Boluses, Search for Azcantas, and a bunch of counterspells. And they're relying less on their creatures, that their creatures are more just there to give you some type of extra value. So like, I basically feel like I'm playing versus another control deck versus the 4-color builds post-board. So like, I feel like I'm just playing versus another control deck. Nice. Kind of wanted the Essence Scatter more than the Glimmer anyway. This is insane on turn 3, that is for sure. But we do have the 5 enchantments to try to fight with it. Not going to show him the island right now. I'll Essence Scatter anything he plays here because like their mana's kind of bad. And you never know whether they're going to play a second creature or whether they're just going to like start moving into Chandras and Veraskas and stuff. So like especially like a Rogue Refiner. This on turn 3. A very hard card to beat. I did bring in the full set of negates. I've been thinking about adding a cast out to the sideboard over one of the bindings because I feel like I like 4 cast outs more than I like 3 bindings and 2 cast outs, but I'm a little afraid to do that because it's worse versus red deck wins. Well, that's unfortunate. So you hit a Rogue Refiner and got value already. This Nissa's already went absurd. I guess he's just going to save a counterspell because he knows we're going to play the binding. We have to play the binding either way, though. It's not like we have much of a choice in the matter. JK, we now have a choice. We can upkeep use to cast out. And if he counterspells it, at least he doesn't get to use his mana for, like, something big that turn, maybe something small. There's a good chance this gets counterspelled, though. At least he had to scry with it that time. Guess that was a pretty good pickup. Just playing in that to negate at the end of our turn, or on our turn, would have sucked. Does he not have a land? Him not having a land could be bad. See, he saw this one, so we'll play it. Hopefully he doesn't have a second counterspell. Nice. Hey, John, what's up, man? Hope you're having a good day. Just Gonti, because he tapped double black first? Sure. Not super worried about Gonti. Don't think I want to fumigate right now. Think I want to keep Death and Scatter for like a Scarab or something, and potentially use the Effort Meltdown on just this and be happy to take 2. That way I don't have to pay attention to the phasing. Wonder if I can sideboard out Effort Meltdowns if he's not playing Cub. That's something I've been thinking about too. I'm not sure how good the Meltdowns are if they don't play Cub and Glorybringer. He had a main deck. It's still pretty good though, like it hits a counter spell. Can stop us from redrawing an approach if you play it on the right turn, can hit counter spells, can get our cast outs. Like I think it's a fair card here. Basically you just want anything that can give you 2 for 1 versus these decks. He didn't play anything on 5, so it makes me feel like he hit a Glimmer or something. Or potentially a cast out. Still has 5 cards in his hand though. Yeah, so he hit a Glimmer. Opponent has 7 cards that are 3 and he's drawing an 8th on his turn. He also put on bottom, so I guess that's good. Mana number 6. This game's certainly not going to plan. Hey, Slam Jam Sam, thank you very much for the follow. Sorry that I missed it. I'm apparently 5 minutes late. It's not relevant now, but it could be relevant if we, like, find more of our spells to attack his cast outs and his Veraskas, which I assume is what's coming soon. Yeah, well, I guess it's time for us to cast Fumigate. I think I'm going to cycle this land. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get this Nissa back or anything, but, like, I still feel like the game's going to come down to Planeswalkers at some point, so, like, having those to protect his Planeswalkers feels pretty good for him, probably. He has to have something in his hand, right? Like, he's missed a land drop this game. Those can't all be removal spells, especially post-board. Okay, don't care about that. Sure. It's just like holding a bunch of random creatures. Playing around Fumigate, I guess? Not really sure. Search for Ascanta. That's a nice pickup. It's not the best pickup in the world if a Death Scourge Scavenger in play, but we'll probably try to use the Settle next turn. Not this turn, but maybe this turn. I guess a lot of it depends on what he's going to play. Alright, make that next turn. Let's go ahead and hit F6. Because I'm cray. It does put us low enough that Nicobolus just beats us, but it feels like it's the best way to play around like any type of additional counter spells. Because if we just use Settle and he has like a counter spell, the game could potentially be over. If he taps another mana, there's some chance that I settle this turn. Hey Dumbo, what's up, man? Oh, he wants to kill my appetite? I kinda want to save that. I don't think I have the luxury of being able to save it. He left 2 mana up for some reason, so like he's kind of representing that he has a counter spell. It actually works out pretty well for us because now we're not in Nicobolus range. He's got double counterspell next turn though, like we still have some kind of issue. Or if he's smart and only attacks with like 1 creature, that's kind of bad for us as well. Nothing can kill your appetite? Oh. Did you call me fat? I am kind of fat. I'm pretty hungry. I've also not ate today. So this is definitely going to get a counterspell. Well, I guess it's not going to get a counterspell used on it. Maybe he's just going to resolve a better threat and protect it with a counterspell. Maybe he just has nothing. He feels like he's not done anything this game. A collection of counterspells in our hand. Alright. And counterspelling this feels bad, but it's also a 2-turn clock and a card draw. I think I have to counterspell it. Problem is he could just have Scarab God, but if he has Scarab God, we have like outs to cast outs, bindings, and just like playing like a Fumigate and then holding up a counterspell or something. Tap 5 mana, 6 mana, Vraska. Oh, that's bad for us. That doesn't do anything. So we're dead next turn. So we have to be able to beat 3 creatures plus a Vraska. I don't know if we have a draw that even lets us do that. Actively not sure we have a draw that lets us win. Like Approach doesn't even do it because he can ultimate. I guess Fumigate into something is our best chance. Alright, well we're just dead. No out. He still has our card face down, too. Maybe he'll ultimate and only attack with 2. Who knows? Nope, we're just dead. Alright, so basically it come down to a Planeswalker at the end, and the Planeswalker just wins. Pretty typical about how these matches can often go. I don't think I want to change anything from the play to the draw. Don't think he's on Cubs. He's not showed me anything to think he's on Cubs. So that being said, I don't think I want the sensors too much. I don't really want these Zephyr Meltdowns either, do I? Huh. Let's try this. It's the first time I've taken Meltdowns out versus this type of match. I'm just kind of curious about how it's going to go. Because it's something I've been thinking about for a while. This hand's fine. It's nothing to write home about. We need a lot of lands, but it's better than a 6. I still don't mind Censor because World of Virtuoso is still a threat and settles one of the very few ways that we have to deal with a Scarab God if we need our enchantments to deal with his Planeswalkers. I'm actually going to go ahead and censor that. Or Essence Scatter that. There's a good chance that he's like just messed on lands and we can disallow a Rogue Refiner anyway. But like, I find their deck very mana greedy. Probably just going to counterspell anything he plays on this turn as well. Especially if it's a Rogue Refiner. World of Virtuoso, I might would let resolve. But I think it's better to use the disallow on that turn when there's 0 chance that I'm not going to cast Glimmer on this turn. Like, it would have to be like a Chandra quality spell to make me not play Glimmer on this turn. Do I want both of those? I definitely want extra land. I guess I want the Rivulet Tuvin, or the Search for Ascanta Tuvin. Maybe getting the Search for Ascanta was bad since he's already showed us Appetite. No, that sucks. Goodbye, Approach. We will miss you. Guess he could not take Approach. Depends on what kind of counter spells and stuff he has. He might just take like a Fumigate or something. Or a Settle. If he's got a counterspell in his... So the versions that play Duress and stuff like that are considerably harder to beat than the other versions because the Duress is basically a counterspell. And like I said, I feel like they have to have 2 counterspells at all times. Alright. So I want to go ahead and flip this Approach. Or sorry, flip this Settle. Cast out in the graveyard. No, we'll keep the cast out. Specifically like keeping it because there's a good chance he's going to resolve a threat after I just cast Fumigate on this turn. And if for some reason that he doesn't cast a threat that we need to use the cast out on, we'll cycle it. Unless it's, you know, something mana issue-y wise. So this looks like this is the Scarab. So we'll keep the cast out. It'd be nice to have another land here, but what really sucks about this is, like, if he just untaps and has Veraska, the game's over on the spot. Like, we will not beat a Veraska from here without getting absurdly lucky. I mean, you could have, like, no counterspell or something. But that would be the really only chance. But yeah. So, game's pretty much over on the spot. Well, it's not on the spot, but game's obviously not going great for us. That one's disappointing. So like I said, the duresses are basically counterspells, so like I said, it takes him taking 2 counterspells. And he had 2 counterspells. If you include duress as being a counterspell. We'll take the opt, because we actually have to have something now. We don't have time to look. Cast out's not good enough anymore. We need sweepers and basically approaches ASAP. Alright, well, if he has no counterspell, at least we have out to settle. Well, that's what I've said since day one of the format. If opponent has 2 counterspell type effects, it's really, really hard to win. And opponent had 2. Could potentially have a 3rd. We had a good draw as well. It's not like our draw was bad. You got a basic island. Not a good sign. You pretty much only get an island when you have the blue spell to play. There's some chance that he doesn't attack with it all. Hey, he didn't. Oh, never mind. JK. He did. Oh, JK, he didn't. So it's 8? I feel like you need to send the lethal. Okay, I guess we're not dead yet. Don't know what we can do to win, but we're not dead yet, right? Another point of life for us. Yeah, we have some outs. If he had that negate, there was no reason for him not to attack. I don't know if it changes anything. Still pretty sure we just lose, but... Ganti? He's playing Ganti, I don't even have to cast Fumigate this turn. Means I can play like an approach if we draw it. JK. Now I need to Fumigate. Still has 5 cards in hand. If you include this as a card. Because he's got 1 card from Arganti. Oh, that's a good one. Can't really counterspell it because we have to try to counterspell the Scarab. Or we have to save the Disallow for the Vraska, one of the two. It's just like not playing things. So... we have enough mana to potentially get a negate here, so... so even if he has a counterspell, we're not just dead. I mean, we're obviously not in good shape, but... yeah, disallow the trigger, and see if it's enough. So he's using our counterspell. So that's counterspell 4 he's played this match. Let's see if we can find a negate. Well, we found one. Alright, problem 1. It's got to start going down kind of soon because it rotates like in a couple of quarters, right? So what can we do now? We can top deck our 3rd Fumigate? Yeah, we can top deck our 3rd Fumigate. That's not a 3rd Fumigate, so 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That puts us at 13. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 2. 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He's only got 10 mana, so he can bring back 2 things. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Is that right? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And this just puts us at 13, so we're dead on board if we go for the approach. Alright. It looks like we're using the Azcanto one last time then. Yeah. Don't really have another option. There's only 1 Fumigate in their deck and there's 2 Settles. No, there's 1 Fumigate and 1 Settle, so... yeah, maybe he doesn't attack with them all. I mean, he's obviously going to attack with enough to kill us, but... yeah, we put up a good run. The versions of the deck with Glint Siphoner and Duress and stuff are the second hardest version to beat. Sultive's just the hardest version to beat. I mean, he's going to attack with the three little guys pretty easily. If he attacks with the Scarab God too, that means he has a counterspell. I wish we had a settle or something so we could see it. Ah, 0 and 2. "90 minutes in. Not a good way to say goodbye potentially to approach. We'll join. I'm gonna keep this hand because we're on the draw. I'd probably keep it on the play too. I think Azcanta's that strong that I would really keep very Hey Dong, what's up, man? I'm gonna cycle the sensor. Gonna immediately wish we didn't because we drew a land. Yeah, hand looks pretty good now. The opponent looks like he's playing Teamer. To see whether he has the splash or not and which version he's playing. Sensor in my graveyard. Yeah, most things are going to my graveyard right now that aren't exactly lands. Specifically white lands. Definitely just casting the Meltdown here. 100% not cycling the cast out. Hey, Mana Traders, what's up, man? You having a good evening? I'm loving this account, by the way. Uh-oh. El Whirler what's up? I kind of want the white land. Are you? It worked fine for me. I got this deck off you guys earlier. It worked super well for me. That kind of sucks, though. I did read the notice that said you were upgrading the systems, which is sweet. We're just going to Fumigate next turn. Practically anything but Chandra is something we don't care about. Could have counter spells in his main deck. Not worried about that either. Random land to the graveyard, sure. We want more lands at some point, but with the search for Azcanta, I feel like we're going to get to our lands either way. Opponents are really, if they're not running the counter spells in the main deck, it's really hard for them to win game one, so like they almost just have to go for it and hope. Like they don't have a lot of leeway to try to play around things. Fumigate in the graveyard. Yeah, probably don't need another Fumigate this game. We already have a Settle and we have a Torrential Gearhulk. So it's pretty unlikely we need another one. If he casts a Glorybringer or something, I'll probably Glimmer this turn. If he doesn't, I'll probably just take my 3 or 4. It's kind of interesting that he only made 1 Thopter and not 2. Rogue Refiner, always a great draw. So this flips Search for Azcanta as well. Actually going to keep this one now. Not that I really think I'm ever going to need it, but I like the idea of the insurance policy when I feel really far ahead. Put an Approach in my graveyard, which is probably wrong. There's a good chance I'll need it, but I feel like with the Search for Azcanta, we're just going to find one again so quickly that I don't really care about that first one. Though we could have played it on that turn. I kind of don't feel like this game's losable at this point. Hello, for Rock Out for Life. Appreciate the follow, man. No, we're just going to draw another anyway. And now we're going to be sad that we didn't keep the other one. But it's whatever. So we don't win this turn, but we get to untap and win next turn. Or sorry, you know, we don't win this upcoming turn, we get to win the turn after that. That's what I'm trying to say. Might take a turn off and kill that, but we have 28 life, so there's no real reason to. So now we can use the Glimmer and the Azcanta, so we just redraw that approach. If he's got a counter spell, we play on, but our life total is not even low enough that is anything dangerous at all. Like he can attack for 8 this turn and put us at 18 if he wants. So like even if he had a counter spell, we'd be able to untap and play to settle. And still have plenty of life to work with. Yeah, so he tapped for black mana, so now we know that he's playing that build of the deck, and that build of the deck is considerably harder to beat. We also know that he didn't leave up mana, so we know we just win. So these cards go on the bottom, and we just, well, okay, whatever. My approaches, 3 of my approaches were in the 4 cards combined. That's fine. We would have got to the other approach with the Azcanta, though. I guess he's conceding it's not letting me go to the other phase. Alright, so we saw Cubs, and we saw Vraska, so we know he's got the Black Splash. If he's got the Black Splash, I do not want the Gearhulk. Also, if he has the Black Splash, I want the Gideon less, because I feel like the games are a little longer, so it's a little harder to protect. I pretty much just want all of our counter spells and bindings. So pretty much bring in all 7 of these cards. Bring all 7 of these cards in versus a lot of decks, by the way. And what you cut's like a little bit different. Easily can cut the sensors on the draw. Don't love it. It's potential that I want to keep like 1 sensor and cut 1 Search for Azcanta maybe on the draw instead. We'll try that this time. I'm going to keep the Meltdowns for sure this match because we know he has Cubs, whereas We took out the Meltdowns last match, but we didn't see a cub in, you know, some fairly long games, so it felt like it was pretty safe too. He mulliganed. Can I keep this hand if he mulliganed? Yeah, I think I can keep this hand. We have no way to interact with a cub, and that could be really, really bad, but I think the hand on a base is strong enough to keep. We have a lot of cards we can draw into. Like, we've got the 3 cast outs, the 2 bindings, the 3 settles, the 2 effort meltdown. So we have a lot of things that we can draw. Yeah, I'm a celebrity tonight. Pretty excited about it. So we just kind of cross our fingers here and scream no cub at the top of our lungs. Like, you do not want to play a 2-drop. A 2-drop is not the droid you're looking for. Yes, no 2-drop. It's a pretty nice one. This has definitely made my Magic Online life a lot happier. I'm going to keep that. Again, I feel like these matches come down to very controlly. I think there's a good chance that we want to cast out in most games. We have multiple counterspells now, including an Essence Scatter, so that feels pretty nice. Opponents just put no pressure on us. You really can't just pass for 3 turns in a row and beat these decks. Could have Spell Pierce. We could have just been playing around the sensors. Who knows? Do you still pay for the 100, Ricky? Wow, and he's not playing anything this turn? So he really is just playing around sensor? Not a fan of playing around sensor. Thinking about keeping the sensor out of spite, but I won't. Carnage Tyrant. Alright, well that's not something I expected. I put that one on the bottom and this one on top. Not gonna cycle to cast out this turn. Alright. Hello, Carnage Tyrant. That's not a waste of money at all. Well, we'll find a way to deal with that probably. Or we'll just race it at this point. I want both of you. I want every card in my hand. Don't make me discard. I guess I'm going to discard the Field of Runes. If he's got double counterspell for this settle, that would suck. Which is one of the reasons I want to keep the farmlands. Alright, he just has no counterspell for it. Okay. Opponent has a very medium draw. And by medium, I mean very bad. Opponents played 3 spells in 8 turns? 4 spells now in 8 turns? That's not gonna do it. I'm just playing this. I have double counter spell up. Oops. Double counter spell up. Ascanta flips next turn, and I'll protect it, so... Rampaging Ferostodon. I guess that's good enough to counterspell? I'm just not going to bother, though, with the cast out in their hand. I've not saw that out of that deck before. That's definitely a difference. Not concerned whether he counterspells this right now. I would be a little sad if he killed the search for Ascanta, but... him counterspelling is something I definitely don't care about. You just start thinking about ways I can lose the game, because I feel like the game's won. I just don't want to do something stupid and lose. So one thing that I need to get better at, because often when I think a game's this wrapped up, I kind of like lose focus and start making much worse plays. And it often costs me games. I don't really want either of those, but I have to take one, so... Well, you technically don't have to take one, but there's no reason not to take one. I'll rephrase. So we don't have enough mana to cast it if we did hit it. Considering we have 3 counter spells in our hand, I don't know if I can lose this game as long as I played my spells without thinking. Opponent obviously just got super flooded. This is one of the worst floods I've saw. Commend him for trooping on, though. Sorry if the commentary during this match is kind of poor. There's not a whole lot to talk about. I had enough mana to ask Kanta and look for an approach, but I don't want to lose to like some random Lost Legacy or something. Like, that's really the only way I see myself losing this game, so we'll just play it safe. I guess I'll counterspell that. It provides 2 cards, which could be 2 different threats, so... No. The only card we've settled so far this game is this. That was a different game that we settled on for a bunch. This is game 2. We've already won the game that we cast to settle. The Glimmer. This is game 2 though. He's only got 1 extra land from the settle this game. I mean, we just passed turn 12 and he's only cast 5 spells. So, Island in the Graveyard, yes. Flip it, no. We've looked at over half our deck now. Alright, he can have that one. If that kills me, I deserve to die. Gonna be coming up on it pretty soon. What do we got? Take another disallow, I guess. Don't care what order I put those in. Alright, there we go. So bottom, top. How's he salty? He's not said anything. Sure. I was starting to think this was going to be one of those games where we got to cast 2 approaches in a single turn. It is not. Still have 2 counter spells up. So what is this? Is this Nicobolus? Guess if it's Nicobolus, it can resolve, right? Oh. Well, that can certainly resolve. I don't care about that. Combining that next turn if we feel like it. Just cast Settle this turn as well. So how much land do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 7. If we spend 3 to get it, we have negate. So I'll just take the damage. He's only got 1 hand or card in hand. So we're just going to ask Kanta at the end of turn, then ask Kanta on our next turn, and we have negate back up. And there's a good chance that we can just like draw it with the first hit, which we didn't. Or maybe we draw it on our draw step, who knows. We drew it on our draw step. But whatever, we had enough mana to get it. Whoops, I didn't mean to click yes to that, but it doesn't matter. Didn't mean to click yes to that, but we're winning right now anyway. We had enough mana, obviously not after I made that punt, but we had enough mana to use the search for Ascanta and get to the other approach and still having to negate back up. Alright, well, we got a win in the books. Let's see if we can get 2 more and acquire the pity chest. The pity chest? The pity chest. Everybody likes the pity chest. El pity chestorino. Mana traders left. I'm sad. Hey, JJ's here. He's not said anything today. Where are you planning on going to any pre-releases at, Ricky? You gonna head over to Williamson with Mike and them, or are you thinking about heading to Cav maybe? Alright, we will play first. That sounds acceptable. That's a pretty decent hand. It's the type of hand that might even be able to sneak a red deck wins win. It's the type of hand you really don't want versus like another approach deck. Because I'm bad at it, I don't know how to do commentary, and I can't afford decks. I believe that Esper approach is worse versus the field. I think you only want Esper approach versus red deck wins. that's kind of unfortunate. So we keep a hand like this, and our opponent has is playing Glacial Fortress. Might be one of the reasons to get one of these Essence Scatters out of the deck and bring in the Disallow, like I was talking about in the post-up. I think the mana issues from Esper Approach and are just enough that I don't really want to be on that type of build. I also think that the Fatal Pushes are literally only good versus red deck wins. I mean, sure, like there's a green-white aggro deck, and maybe we'll need Fatal Pushes when the travel decks get more play. But as of right now, like I don't even like them versus like Teamer, and Teamer's such a big portion of the field that I'm not sure that it's worth it. He's somebody from California, Dumbo. He's just heard me complain a lot, apparently. I think he's from California. I feel real dumb if he's not from California as much as we talk. So we're probably versus Jeskai Approach right now, and this is, you know, not the type of hand you want versus decks like that. Big money, one time, give us a Glimmer. That's not a Glimmer, but we'll keep it. It's an extra card in our graveyard in case we ever draw Search for Azcanthas, and it's an extra card deeper. Well, we ended up with the Fumigate that we were going to draw anyway. Alright, well our hand's real bad. Well, that's actually kind of good for us, because now he can't play Gearhulk and use the Censor on our approach if we draw the untapped land. Which we're going to draw. We need to draw. We did draw. Alright, well this is step one. We get to cast the first one of these. He's just like going to counterspell and untap and play Chandra or something. Oh, that would be horrible for us. Like main phase mana tappings. Kind of odd. Alright. So he missed his first land drop? Yeah, we hit a counterspell. So our opponent's drawing roughly the same as us, I think. That was a card that I would definitely try to counterspell. I think that card's actually more something that I'd want to counterspell than our own approach. No, it's more than an hour. It's about an hour, hour and 5 minutes, somewhere in that general ballpark. Our local store is about 30 minutes, and that's the closest. Ooh. So we know we can draw approach next turn if we want, at least. He also drew a Glimmer. We have no negates in our main deck, so guess there's a world where we could draw approach, disallow, and Glimmer, or sorry, approach, disallow, and land all in one turn. Maybe that'd be good enough. Y'all need Jesus talking to Ray that much. Alright. People like to talk to Ray, man. Ray's good folk. Put the rivulet on the bottom first. Alright, well. There's only 4 more dead cards, in my opinion, in our entire deck. And we just put 1 on the bottom. No, we lose. How come our opponents that typically only play 2 searches generally always draw them before we do? Guess I'm going to use that during his upkeep. Just to tap some of his mana. Yes, I have to discard a card doing so, but... Co-run gonna get you every time, man. Yeah, so he got an extra scry like that, but it's hard for him to fight the counterspell war there. You don't see promo magma sprays real often. It's kind of cool art. That's probably going to get essence scattered when we use it. Still going to use it at the end of his turn, though. Yep, assumed it would get essence scattered. Alright, well, we finally have a counterspell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We can't even cast it right now, so I guess we wait longer. Our opponent's on a 34 turn clock. "33 turn clock." Just kind of like sit back and do nothing forever. He's still not hit a land. What are you discarding this time? Yeah, we could go for it, but the odds of him having multiple counterspells are just way too high. We've already used one of our disallows, so like we've only even have one more hard counterspell in our deck. Game 1's pretty hard for us to beat if we don't draw our own search. He can have Glimmer. And a cast out. I don't know how we win if that resolves. I don't know how we win if we use our last hard counterspell to get rid of it. Such a hard call. I think the Azcanta's that strong, though. Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. Oh, he's got the 4th color? Huh. Actually, I need to start saving these sensors at this point. These sensors would actually be useful at this point. I mean, it could. I think they're going to have to do something to energy for it to be. I think energy is considerably stronger with the new set. What? Oh, apparently I tapped one too many mana. Whatever. I'm gonna play this one too. Actually, I'm not. I want to be able to at least keep a minimum of 2 counter spells up for potential gear hooks. It is his toughest matchup. That is true. It's not his only hard matchup though. Yeah, so now we have a settle. Yeah, the mill plan's always my plan 1 in these matches, which makes it kind of boring to play on stream for people, but that is a good spell, but that card's so bad versus like everything but energy, right? Or sorry, everything but red deck wins, isn't it? So like when you put all of those cards like, you know, that spell and fatal push and stuff like that in your deck, you get worse versus teamer. You also have to play a lot more black spells to do that too. That spell's really good though. That spell is very good. But like I think the default energy deck will become Sultai Energy. And like Sultai Energy is extremely good versus teamer. Probably not. Like I just can't protect it. He'd have to tap almost all of his mana. There's very little chance that I'm actually casting a second sun this game. Huh. Even Supreme Will stops it now. He can just untap and play it for 3. I think I'm not casting it. I don't think I'm winning this game by any way other than milling him. So the big thing is right now he's not had enough mana to play his approach. That's pretty huge for us. But like he's still going to have plenty of hard counter spells in his deck and we don't. We know he's already showed us Supreme Wills and we're not even playing around Supreme Will if we play approach that turn. Oh, I don't want to die to just Supreme Will. She's just gonna keep both of those. I want more lands. Putting 2 cards on top. Also something that can scare an opponent pretty good. Yeah, Yeah, looking for the deserts is what I want. Our other desert's about 7 cards up from the bottom of the deck, give or take. That number's not exactly accurate, but he has to be on approach, right? Like, how's he win if he's not on approach? He's just gonna play Nicobolus at some point, maybe? I really wish... So, in my pre-walk-up to this, I mentioned that one of these Essence Scatters should probably be a disallow, and now this is the second match that I've really wanted that disallow over an Essence Scatter. So he definitely has an approach in his hand. Think I may cast one now? I have 6 mana? Untap still? Which lets us bluff enough things? While paying for 2 Supreme Wills, so like disallows the only cards that we really have to worry about here. You can have that one. So that's his 3rd disallow now, so there's only one more disallow even in his deck. He kind of knows we're going to cast it again this next turn. Sure. It's kind of interesting. I kind of want to use both Rivulets on him. He can't cast 2 Supreme Wills, so like using both Rivulets seems fine. My mana feels irrelevant now, and we get to at least make him discard one of the approaches this way. So he does have Nicobolus in his main deck, we just got it. I don't think our mana matters anymore. So we get his approach this way, but the odds of him having one in his hands are absurdly high. But we can play around Supreme Will, and there's a good chance he doesn't have the full 4 disallows in his deck. Alright, so hold on, let me read the chat real quick. I was kind of worried about the clock a little bit. Take out scatters and approach destroys energy decks. Yeah, approach is pretty good versus energy. Nah, 4-color anything is not that bad. Like, 4-color energy is fine. The Sunbird proc after you return approach to your hand. What do you mean return it to your hand? Not actually sure what you're asking, I'm sorry. Like, approach has to be cast for your hand. But the way the triggers works is, like he said, this goes on the stack, then this resolves, then this resolves. Oh. I misread what you said. For some reason, I thought you were saying it goes back. No, wait. Yeah. I was right. The hand. That's what confused me. This is somebody else. But yeah. Alright, anyway, so we definitely want the disallows here. We definitely want the search for Azcanta. We definitely want the negate. I'm not 100% sure about the Torrential Gear Hulk because we saw black mana and he could have Scarab. Definitely removing at least these cards. Kind of want the bindings too. I typically take out sensors in this match. So the big difference is, do I want the Torrential Gear Hulks or not? And I'm not actually sure the answer to that question. I feel like I can win these matches without the Torrential Gear Hulks. Pretty sure. Are you on a cell phone right now? I don't think I want these Gear Hulks. I don't think I want the Gear Hulks. I think there's a good chance he has Scarab. If we had the 4th Rivulet, that's something that we consider, but right now we're down to 3 Rivulets. Alright, well, we have to mulligan. We don't really have lands here. Alright, snap, keep this hand. That's not a land, but it's a card I want. I don't think I'm willing to mulligan that card. Oh! Hey, Proto. Congrats, man. On that. I remember you. By the way, thank you for following. Nukes are painful. Apparently, I missed it. And for Rock Out for Life, I apparently missed. I had something over my other screen, so I apologize for missing them. Really, you're lagging that bad on a TC or on a PC? So hopefully, this Azcanta will just get us lands. I'm going to keep this even though it's not a colored source, but I just need land sources. I can't afford to miss a land drop right now. Sorry, I had Facebook up over it because I was asking Ricky something off stream. I find that the approach decks often go versus the pure white build, bring in the actual, like, their creature plan to beat us. Which is why I always leave this stuff in. If we play a fairly long game too and we don't see any creatures like that, we may trade. I guess I don't want an Essence Scatter. Kinda do, but we're far enough behind right now on the land count that I don't think I want it. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Have you changed anything? I cannot pronounce your name. Trinity Sinob or whatever. Have you changed your approach to list any? Proto Prison. Wait, who's that? I don't even see that. Oh, here we go. Oh, no, Proto Prison's the one I meant to ask. Have you changed your approach build any? I meant. My bad. Man, I cannot read. I cannot talk. I'm too stupid. Why do people even watch me? We have a search for Azcanta, and that's my favorite card in Magic. That's my favorite card in Magic at this point. It really is. I guess I'll discard that. Really just wanting to flip this search for Azcanta at this point. Nice. Do you get to play it a whole lot? Do you like have a nice gaming group there? Like I'm so far away from being able to game with people. I live in the middle of nowhere. I need to start singing, and I need to bring the music back. Do you plan on going to the Hobgoblin PPTQ? Regal Caracol. See? I told you, man. They bring in the creature plans here. It's just like super common for them to bring in the creature plans. I think I actually still want my land. The sorcery. Where's your home at? Or if you don't want to say to a group of people who may come stalk you, you know, it's cool. I don't actually know. I don't know where your home is at. I wish I lived closer to Cav. I really like that store. I really like the players there, and I really like the owner. Yep. To the graveyard you go, friend. 3, 6. We'll play it. It's the 7th man. Orange, Virginia. Go ahead and stalk me. You'll find just fine cows. Fair enough. Alright, you can have all your glimmers. I don't even consider counterspelling glimmers in this match unless they've missed a land drop. I get to make one of my favorite plays next turn. I get to field a rune a random land of his to give us the option to flip our search for Azcanta if we want. Technically thins our deck too, which is kind of cool, but we have to counterspell that, unfortunately. We'll fight for this. I'll use my disallow too, if he wants. I'll always fight for those. So he's getting ready to use a third counterspell on it. That's not bad for us. So we guaranteed to get to flip this. Taking the cast out. I may overvalue Azcantas, but I do a lot of things to fight the Azcanta wars. I think it's the 21st. Because the fact that they could just have a second one, they may never flip it. They might just use it to scry every single turn of the game. Like, just scrying every single turn of the game is, like, really large value. Don't care a whole lot if he counterspells this. Getting counterspells out of his hand has to be good for us at this point. Especially when we already have a search for Azcanta. There's only one creature in the graveyard as well. Like, you know, if it was a forced flip, I would have let it resolve for sure. But, like, the flip on it is a May. And with the flip on it being a May, it's just something I would rather fight over. Because, like, he can just leave it in play and scry. Basically, I know it's not a scry because you don't put the card on the bottom of the library. You put it in your graveyard, which is technically better for this deck because of the Torrential Gearhulks. But you basically get a pseudo scry every single turn until you draw your second search for Azcanta or your own Fielder Rune. And I just think that gives him way too much value. I like, really think that's the most important card in the match. I may overvalue it though. Like, if you noticed, I put a lot of emphasis on it on all of these games, so I could just overvalue it. What do we have? 2 more search for Azcantas and an approach. Well, I guess we'll take the approach. Ditch the searches. Still has 4 cards in his hand, which is a lot. So 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we're technically dead? We are technically dead. If he has 2 counter spells, we're definitely dead. Alright, I'm just gonna play this then. I think this is better than going for a random card with the search. And if this resolves, we don't have to play the second one. If he has 2 counter spells though, we're just dead. There's nothing we can do to beat 2 counter spells. Nothing we can do to beat Counterspell and Nicobolus. So he did bring in the full creature plan, and he did bring in Scarab God, so I'm pretty happy with how we boarded. Yes, we're getting ready to see if he has a counterspell. I don't think he attacks with everything unless he has a counterspell, but like we still have to play our spell and hope it's good enough. Oh wow, he didn't have it. That's so good. That's so good for us. Yep, it's a Sunday. No worries, man. Keep in mind that he does have limited seating, so you may want to call and like reserve a spot in advance or something. Yeah, I guess we'll use this now. If he didn't have a counterspell to protect that, like, he has to just not have a counterspell now, right? Because the game would be over. Like the game was just over, so I guess we win? Either we win, or either he or I one can't do math. I'm not sure which. It's like one of those three things. Either my math was bad, which my math wasn't bad, by the way. He was attacking for 15. Or his math was bad. Yep. Whitesburg, Kentucky. It's a pretty decent little store. Doesn't have much selection, but like it's a really nice play area. There's some like arcade games. Alright, 2 and 2. One more chance to get the pity chest. By the way, since it's so late at night, and I like advertising, and there's 26 of you, if you like the stream, you should click the follow button. And if you really like the stream, you should look at the links below the stream and follow my Twitter, where you can see all the deck lists we play every time we go live, and our YouTube channel, where you can find almost all of our past streams. Also, on the YouTube channel, if you're already watching from there, there's a link to the Twitter, the Twitch, and the description in every video. Or a Twitter, the Twitch, and the deck list in every video. Following's free. It's good for advertising. Thumbs up. You know. I do stream every single day. Unfortunately, because Modo was messed up last night, we had to stream Eternal last night, but we still got a stream in. I think not missed a day since July 9th. Trying to do the full 1 year, but winter's months are really bad where I live, so there's a good chance that I won't get to do the full year. But we're trying our best. Yeah, it is. I have to cross 2 hills to even get to it. Yep. Most of my whole family is involved in the coal mining industry, except for me. I'm just a big fat nerd. Thank you so much for following, Proto. Prototype in session. Oh wow, I can read. I figured it out. I don't know what I was thinking before. Are we going to get a pity chest, or are we not going to get a pity chest? Who knows? You can do it. Stream's been going on 2.5 hours tonight, like. These matches have been slow and uneventful. I don't actually know where that is. Oh, by the way, Full Rudy, thank you for the follow too. I don't know how I missed that. I'm pretty excited for the stream to be over because I've not ate today, and I'm just going to go in there and destroy a bowl of chili. I'm going to eat so much of it. Do we get paired versus the mono red player that's going to crush us in minutes? Or what? Oh, we won the dash row. Not won a lot of those tonight. This hand's a quick keep. Pretty clear keep. We have a turn 2 counterspell, a turn 3 counterspell, providing we get the land for the turn 3 counterspell, but we have the third land regardless. We already have Approach in our hand. We get to press F6. You know, pressing F6 is the best. Oh no, it is the red deck. Well, potentially the red deck. He could just be like a teamer deck that's leading with the red mana or like a magma spray in case we played something, but it's most likely the red deck. At least we get to counterspell his first 2 threats, which buys us quite a bit of time. Yep, definitely the red deck now. I'm pretty much counterspelling anything. The whole goal is just to buy as much time as we can. He would have played a Beaumont Courier on 1 if he had it, so you know he doesn't have another threat there. Chandra would be hard to beat, but Rampaging Ferostodon's also hard to beat, so it's kind of like interesting. I actually have thought about that. I've never really experimented too much with it because until recently, like Scarab God had been a barrier for me to build decks on Magic Online. But now that I have a Mana Traders account, I should really experiment more. I think Ricky played a similar deck to that once. I've had Approach as sideboard win conditions from quite a few different decks. So like, it's definitely something I've put a little thought into. I like how we got to save the disallow for like a Chandra, a Hazard, or like a Rampaging Ferostodon. Mona had a really slow draw and can still just like pretty easily beat us. Like all of those cards are so impactful, and he's got 6 damage worth of lands in play already. Unfortunately, kind of want to counterspell that because I really want to play the Glimmer next turn. It's only bad versus Chandra because Hazoret's unlikely to attack. Yeah, the removal does get really nice. Alright, well we need to land, so pretty much not keeping anything but lands here. I kind of want to cast out too, but can't afford not to hit a land. We do have a Gideon for like a Hazoret, which is nice. So basically hoping to avoid Chandra. I kind of want to keep this too. I feel like he's played slow enough that might be reasonable, but I'll just put it on bottom. See if we can hit a land here. No land, and we hit another Glimmer. So we have a cast out for Chandra and or Hazoret, and we have a Glimmer if he does nothing. Hazoret's an underplayed card, I've always felt. I've always really liked Hazoret. Alright. He's still only on 4 lands, so it's still kind of safe to fumigate him. Alright, so we get to cast our approach on... Oh, wow. Alright, well that makes things pretty simple. We'll just go ahead and get the board cleared now. We play approach on the following turn, approach on the following turn. Like, we just can't lose this game at this point. Without F6ing through one of our turns or something ridiculous, we really can't lose this game. He can't. He just simply can't do enough damage in 2 turns. Yeah, so we go down to 11, then back to 18. Then the most damage he can do is 11. Second approach makes things kind of interesting. I kind of want the 4th approach back in the deck. It's something that I've argued with Ricky quite a lot about, but like I really miss it. Oh wow. I guess I was wrong. He had Rampaging Ferocitodon so he could do a little bit more damage. Is that getting common? That's like the 2nd or 3rd mono red opponent recently that we've had play that. Alright. So we stole the Magic Game one from them. Alright, cards that I like in this. I like the Regal Caracals, I like the Bindings, and I like the Effort Meltdown, or the authorities. If I make the switch between the Essence Scatter and a Disallow, which is how I'm thinking about changing the construction of the deck, then I like bringing in the Essence Scatter as well, but like right now we don't have that, so we just have these 8 cards at the moment. I don't think I really want Disallow. Let's see, what are we saying here? Approach is good and bad. Teamer is, as of now, basically a buy unless they sideboard hard for approach. Fair enough. We're currently 2-2 Silk Wrap, and we're up a game in round 3, but we're versus our worst match. Or sorry, up a game in round 5, but worse versus our worst match. How did you end up in yours? Anyway, so in this match, I like taking out the Gear Hook. I think it costs too much mana. I like taking out all the Search for Azcantas. I think the ops are a little bad, but I don't want to draw multiple glimmers in these matches either. So it really comes down to like whether I like Sensors, Ops, and Gideons better, but I think in general I like the Ops less of the 3 cards. Basically, I try to be a kind of like a mono-white control deck. What'd they play? Take out opponent, out 2 search. Ended up 4-1, nice. Guy just conceded to the last round to a turn 2 search. And turn 2 search is that powerful. Alright, we'll keep this hand. Opt is arguably better than Censor on the draw, but I like that Censor can like kill a Rampaging Ferocitodon. Like, I'm really worried about the Rampaging Ferocitodon. I'm not sure what Sea Legs means. I consider this the best card in their deck versus us. I think it's better than Hazoret and or Chandra. So, like, anytime I see a Beaumont carrier, I automatically get afraid. If they follow it up with a 2-drop, that's sucky. See if we can find us a white mana. It's like a pretty rough keep for us, but I think it was a keep. I don't think I'm casting Authority this turn. I think I'm just holding up Essence Scatter before they get more pressure on the board. Because as of right now, I feel like I can stall the game to settle and Fumigate. Really? That's kind of interesting. I have no idea what that is. I'm sorry. I have no knowledge of what that card is. Is it 1 for 1 with flash. I guess that card's not bad then. Alright. If he's got a bunch of burn spells, this is going to be real rough. It's going to be real rough either way. Huh. Oh, flash plus O if it's a pirate. Okay. The card's not terrible. You should never open chests. Like, it's just not good value to open chests. Alright, well, we have to counter it. So we kind of just got ran over this game pretty hard. They're technically plus EV. It depends on really how much you, A, like to gamble, and B, how much you care about... I don't know what I'm trying to say. A, how much you like to gamble, and B, how much, you care about play points. On a personal level, I value play points absurdly lowly. Like, I value play points at almost 0, so to me, it's never worth it. So he gets 2 more lands and 4 brand new cards. It's going to be very hard to win. It's not impossible, but very hard. We do at least get to semi-turn this off. Oh, and we're missing a land drop? Fun times. I'm actually going to cycle this. I don't think we can afford to miss our land drop. Ramunap's pretty good. Alright, well I guess we have to counterspell that, even though I don't want to. He's gonna have some other thing. It's gonna be like probably Chandra or Hazard or something. Who knows? But that was a good draw. Alright, so we've got some life now. That was the best thing he had to play that turn. We actually have a fair chance, right? Yeah, but the problem is I have 4,000 play points. So, like, I couldn't burn through the play points if I tried. So, for me, I valued them very low. I'm not saying everybody should value them low. Like, it's a completely different formula based on who you are and stuff, right? Like, there's no right answer to that question. Alright, so we're definitely going to filter rune this Ramunap. Probably grab us another white. Still dead to a lot of things here. Well, play points haven't been on Moto for 10 years, but yeah. I've spent a lot of time getting them. That's for sure. Alright, well that's another point of life for us, and we can cast a Fumigate, so that's not terrible. Or maybe we get to untap and just play the approach. Which would be great. Huh. I think I have to Fumigate again? I think it's too bad to let him hit us for 3. Too many things kills us if he hits us for 3, right? Guess not that many things kill us. Burn spell kill us. I think I'm just playing the cat. I'd rather save to Fumigate in case he draws a Rampaging Ferocitodon. Did you have an Abandoned Sarcophagus? Oh, it went to the exile for no reason. Well, we don't have to worry about the Haster because we have the 4D of Council. Card's actually pretty good. Actually really like that card here. Oh wow, that card was a great draw. That card ended up being a fantastic draw. So now his blocks suck. And we get to gain at least 2 life. Yeah, it just kind of sounds like a weird Abandoned Sarcophagus bug. Alright, I think it's going to be really hard for us to lose now that we have the Gideon. It's not impossible. Like, obviously, like a burn spell and Soulscar Mage killed a Gideon here, but like, it's certainly not easy for him to win with the amount of life we're about to have. Pretty sure I'm just going to get that thing again. Okay, never mind. Opponent's done. I was going to leave 1 cat back to block the Hazoret. Alright, well, we won our pity chest at least. Won our pity chest, so that's pretty nice. Alright, so what happened tonight? We lost to a Esper Approach list, which I feel like our deck's pretty good versus Esper Approach because of our 4 settles and our 4 disallows. We lost to the 4-color energy deck, the ones that had Glint Siphoners, Duresses, and Gaunties. We beat the 4-color energy deck that just had Veraskas and Scarab Gods. We beat a Jeskai Approach deck, and we beat Red Deck Wins, but the Red Deck Wins match was pretty rough. Overall, the deck still feels fine. I believe going forward, I want to make at least this change. Crap, I can't make changes from this part of the list. 1 second. So, like, I always do a little, I know a lot of you guys wasn't here, but I always do, like, a pre-talk up about the deck. And I'm pretty sure that I definitely want to make this change. At least, the Gideon's still not looking impressive. I kind of feel like I want the 4th Rivulet back in the deck since I got paired versus 2 Jeskai or 2 Approach decks tonight. I just really don't know what I want to replace Gideon with. Thanks, Full Rudy. Appreciate it, man. Actually going to open the treasure chest real quick. I always open them because I just don't care about things. Alright, we'll open these 2. I have no idea what can come in these, and I have no idea why I got them, but we'll open them. An Incendiary Flow, an Ugin, and a Vindicate. I have no idea whether that's good or bad, but it's an Ugin. It's got sweet art. Alright, and let's open a treasure chest. I always like to cover my hand up with the treasure chest. And we got Sky Sovereign and a Matter Reshaper. That's probably roughly about equal. Deck still feels fine. Need to get it to where we can see the entire sideboard. There we go. As for a pre-release, unfortunately, I don't get to go to a pre-release. My local store forgot to order their pre-release packs. And on top of our local store forgetting to order their pre-release packs, my grandmother broke her back earlier this week, so I'm kind of on babysitting papaw duty, so I don't really get to leave the house very much. But, well, don't get to till she's out of, like, rehab and everything. But, yeah, no pre-release for me. Why only 3 settles? I actually don't think settle's very good. I only want it because of Red Deck Wins. I'm closer to wanting a 4 Fumigate than a Settle, but I've just not found that it's needed. Versus the energy decks that are hard to beat, it's the energy decks that are bringing in multiple counter spells and like beating you with a variety of planeswalkers between Chandra, Nissa, Veraska, potentially Nicobolas. And it's also the energy decks that are black based that have like Gwent Siphoners plus Duresses plus Negates. Like you never really care about Rogue Refiners and Whirler Virtuosos and Glory Bringers. So like the Wrath of God effects aren't super good in those matches. They're excellent game 1, but like they don't overperform game 2. They're just fine game 2 and 3. This is still pretty close to your main deck. We cut the Supreme Wills from your main deck. That's about the only real change I've made. Like, I'm completely off Supreme Will right now. I don't like it at all unless I'm playing a 3-color build and I'm looking for specific answers like Fatal Pushes and Harness Lightnings and stuff. That's the only time I really like Supreme Will. But basically the disallows is the big change that we've made. What else we got here? I'm going to read the chat a little bit more. No, I don't know how far you are from Richmond, but I managed to... Oh, I've never been to Legendary Games, but I follow them on Facebook. You guys sound like you have really nice events. Yeah, our local store is under new management, and they're forgetting to do a lot of things. They forgot to order our pre-release packs. They forgot to get our game day. They forgot to get the play mats for the unstable release. Not the play mats, the posters. They had done some weird scheduling, but hopefully they'll get things fixed. Yeah, that is true, but like they don't go that big on creatures. I do not know what that card is, Magic Mike. I'm sorry. I'm not good at names. I'll Google it. Slaughter the Strong. Slaughter the Strong. I'm Googling it real quick, sorry. Each player chooses any number of creatures he or she controls with power 4 or less. I think the card's fine, but like the card's going to see play. I think it's situational like Settle, and I don't consider Settle very good. I consider it a necessary evil. But like, there's going to be a lot of games where you just draw Slaughter the Strong and it does nothing. And I don't really want to play games where it does nothing. And by when I say it does nothing, like, I'm not talking about the games where they don't play creatures or whatever. I'm talking about the games where like they're just beating you down with Beaumont Couriers and like smaller things like that, and you've just drawn several Slaughter the Strongs and they didn't have any effect on the game. The card's probably better than what I give it credit for, but overall I don't consider it a good card, but it is something I'll definitely explore. Like, I don't think it's great, but I think it's pretty good. What else we got here? Disallow doesn't look at cards. I think Disallow was very good this stream. We played versus multiple Jeskai decks, and being able to hit the Planeswalkers is huge from all of the... Disallow was good, and I consider Disallow good in 4 of the 5 matches we played tonight. My first instinct was no, but the more I look at it, the more I like it. Dust of Dawn's also 1 more mana, or 1 more casting cost of mana. I am. I've tried from 24 lands all the way to 26 lands with different numbers of ops from 0 all the way to 4. I've did a lot of different things with the land count and the op count. This is where I come up with, like, I feel like I lose games more than anything because I miss a land drop, and I'm really afraid to go down another land. I actually want a 26 land. I really want a second Field of Runes, but I just don't feel like we have the room for it. Anyway, let's see if we can find anybody to host tonight. It looks like Jim Davis is playing. Looks like he's playing Drakehaven, so I guess we'll probably host him. Yeah, we'll host Jim Davis today. But anyway, I appreciate all you guys stopping by. But anyway, we're gonna jump off here. I'm gonna get some food, and I'll definitely be back tomorrow. Well, I'll try my best to be back tomorrow. Take care, everybody, and thanks so much for the follows and the good evening.